active life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic specializes in customized care for every patient to promote faster healing, allowing you to get back to an optimal life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic goes beyond chiropractic care. They offer physical therapy, massage therapy, nutritional counseling, and wellness classes. Give Lincoln Family Chiropractic a call today at 402-484-5166. Visit them online at lincolnfamilychiro.com or in person, 1 block south of 70th and A Street in Lincoln.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NIPCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
That it is. Welcome into On the Block. We got a loaded Thursday for you. In case you didn't hear, John Cook retired. That's right. Programs and new leadership. We will get to that throughout the course of hour one before turning our attention to Nebraska men's basketball, trying to get off the schneid, a 6-game losing streak. Huskers hope to snap that tonight, 7:30 at PBA against the Fighting Illini of Illinois. Austin Norman with you as always. To the left of me, my partner, Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet, Strick. What's good, partner?
Yay. Another thirsty Thursday.
Ooh.
Man, we did have a bigly packed show for you guys, but at the end of the day, we had to bring in somebody, we had to bring in the big guns.
The Juggernaut,
because
Rico!
it is a must to talk volleyball, since a lot of things is happening in the volleyball space.
What's good?
Things are happening, gentlemen. Things are happening.
Many things. Stricky, when I texted you about this yesterday, telling you what we were going to lead the show with, what was your reaction? Your first reaction? You hear John Cook retires.
You guys were off the air when that happened.
It was old school.
Yeah, and I had the sad face initially because he's such a stapleton for what Nebraska volleyball has been, what it has become when you're looking at not just in the collegiate space, what's going on now in the pro space, with the Supernovas winning a championship last year, with the youth program's growth and in that expansion. He's been a significant part of that growth, and so you're initially sad about it, but there needs to be a transition, there needs to be a move, and you just hope that we don't find ourselves in a situation like Alabama's. And when you think about someone that's iconic in the sport that leads it, you hope that the pressure doesn't get put on the other coach, because he or she is not him or her. You know what I'm saying? So it that's what I'm hoping. There's an embrace of what's to come, what's next, and it's not going to be what we've known in Coach Cook and his long tenure here at Nebraska.
It's always tough to follow we'll just put it, it's always tough to follow the dude, right? So Danny Busby Kelly, in stepping into this role of being the coach after John Cook, is going to be tough. But if you look at her resume, if anybody's going to be able to do it, it's going to be her. And to avoid that what you were saying, that Alabama type misstep misstep. They only lost 3-4 games this year. It's still a really good season for them. Well, really good season, just not for them. To avoid that, Nebraska was quick. They had their succession plan in the bag. They knew exactly what they were going to do, knew exactly who they were going to go for. The only way this could have been this could have been really bad is if she would have said no. But in all of the thoughts, it was that Danny Busby Kelly was the next Nebraska head coach. That was, she had it put into her contract when she signed a new contract at Louisville. John Cook had told her before, when she was an assistant the second time around, that if she wants to be a head coach, if she wants to coach here at Nebraska, she needs to get head coaching experience. So what does she do? She goes and takes over a Louisville program that wasn't very good, and she had him in the Final Four 3 of the last 4 years. So it was her job to say no to. And in terms of kind of taking over the reins of a legend, yes, it's tough. But again, if you look at her resume, if anybody's going to be able to continue it and not to put any, undue pressure, any more pressure than is already on her, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be somebody like her.
Shout out to those of the blockheads that are listening. We know that you see the banner that is posted. We are coming. We're getting the cameras back up and running, so stay with us. We'll be back where you'll see our ugly faces real short. I don't know about mine, but definitely Rico's and Austin.
I am a handsome
I'm
man.
a handsome dude. But good stuff. Austin, talk to me.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
What did you feel?
You always there's been this conversation of when John Cook retires, who's going to take over, what's it going to be, what's it going to mean for the program, and you never know until you know. Like here we are. It's surprising because you never expect it as much as you try to prepare yourself for it and have a contingency plan for the future. But it's still a surprise. I think it still comes as a shock, despite the fact that he's been coaching at Nebraska for 25 years, another couple decades in coaching before that as well. I mean, that's just who John Cook is he's not just a volleyball coach. He's the Nebraska volleyball coach, right? That's a big piece of John Cook. It's a big piece of the program. Who, he took over for, Terry Pettit, but it's been a program that's made in John Cook's image. He's as much the main character of Nebraska volleyball as the program itself is, as any of the players are. And that's something, Strick, when you look at, say, college coaches compared to professional coaches, it's a lot easier to stick around for a long time in the college ranks. Not easy, don't get me wrong, but we see it happen a lot more in college where a coach becomes synonymous with a program, right? You think about a John Wooden. You think about a Bo Schembechler. You think about a Woody Hayes. You think about a Tom Osborne and a Bob Devaney, guys like that. You think of a Mike Krzyzewski, a Roy Williams, a Bill Self. We can keep going throughout sports, right? A Dave Van Horn at Arkansas, Pat Casey at Oregon State, guys like that. Nebraska lost a part of itself as an athletic department, obviously as a program and as a team, right? You lose the figurehead, the North Star, the guiding light, like John Cook has been referred to. So despite, thinking that, the end of the line is definitely closer than the beginning of the line. He's had a long career. He's had a fruitful career. You're still never ready for that news to break, even as much as you prepare yourself for the reality that at some point it's coming. Obviously, I'm not John Cook. I don't know the timing, but it is a bit of a bummer, Strick, that there wasn't one more run. The last dance, the retirement celebration parade and all that good stuff, which, obviously is not what John Cook wanted. He has his own reasons for doing it the way he did it. John Cook deserves a retirement tour. He deserves to be recognized around the Big Ten. Nebraska goes to Wisconsin or Nebraska goes to Penn State or, the first serve event that they're hosting at Pinnacle Bank Arena moving forward. I'm sure they'll find ways to honor him. John Cook didn't necessarily want it to be about him in a lot of ways, but it is always going to reflect on him somehow. So it's too bad that, from a fan perspective, that we didn't get the John Cook retirement tour, that he was never going to be able to bring Danny Busboom Kelly back in the same way he came back. Think about that. At Wisconsin as an assistant for a while, then he comes back a year before Pettit retires to kind of learn on the job what it takes to be the Nebraska head coach. That was never going to be the plan unless it was Jalen Reyes taking over, for example, right? So it's a shock. It's a surprise. John Cook must have thought it was time, but it's just too bad that he couldn't have gone out on top, too, without the retirement tour and also without the national championship. All 4 1 seeds in the Final Four. There's not really an underdog, right? You were there, Rico. But from the Nebraska side of things, maybe this is Nebraska volleyball elitism speaking here and put me in my place, but it felt like we had the 2 underdogs in the national championship. It felt like, Louisville, despite playing on their home court, was an underdog to Pitt, who was pretty much the number 1 team wire to wire after Nebraska lost to SMU. And no knock on Penn State and everything that they were going through with their head coach and the way that roster is put together. But this wasn't, peak Russ Rose Penn State necessarily, right? They finished 3rd in the Big Ten behind Nebraska and Wisconsin. Again, not really an underdog.
No, they finished second.
Second,
tied for first. It was Nebraska and Penn State. Yeah.
So again, you're a Big Ten champ. You're not an underdog. But it just kind of felt like, Penn State only got Nebraska at home. Nebraska's going to be better rounding into form. They learned the lessons from last year. Mm-hmm. So it kind of feels like a disappointing note in the small picture for Nebraska to go out on a quote unquote upset loss in the Final Four. But Cook's right. If you take a look back at the last decade of Nebraska volleyball, they've been in the Final Four more than they've been out of the Final Four.
Yeah.
And that is an incredible testament to what he built. I mean, the first 15 years of John Cook at Nebraska were freaking excellent volleyball. I mean, a lot of, second weekend appearances, a lot of Final Four appearances as well. But it's hard to argue against the last decade as a whole of what John Cook's accomplished at Nebraska, what his teams have done, as maybe the greatest run in volleyball history.
Well, let's speak about that and then I'm going to pass it to Rico to let him delve deeper into this, because when you speak about his legacy and what he has been able to accomplish, you're talking about 4 NCAA championships, 2000, 2006, 2015, and 2017. You have 12 NCAA Final Four appearances, 9 Big 10 or Big 12 titles, 5 Big 10 titles, a career record. Listen to me now. A career record of 883 wins to 107. That means 176 losses with an 83% winning percentage. The fifth best winning percentage all time in D1 sports. You're talking about every time they stepped on the floor, you're looking at possibly in all sense of the matter.
If I told you had an 83% chance to win, you'd feel really good.
Feel really good, right? There at Nebraska, he's coached 5 Olympians, a Honda Broderick Cup winner, 3 AVC D1 National Players of the Year, 72 AVC All-Americans, 25 Academic All-Americans, and 10 Conference Players of the Year. 10 Conference Players of the Year. They've sold out just as, on a nice streak, just as much as what Nebraska football has been able to do, 337 consecutive regular season matches. That goes back to 2001. It's the longest streak. You're just it just doesn't stop. He's an 8-time conference coach of the year, and he definitely was inducted while still coaching into the AVCA Hall of Fame in 2017. It's an illustrious career. I mean, you hear what Austin says, about how it felt kind of weird going out on that note. He didn't go out on that Michael Jordan type note, but it's still a super illustrious career.
He helped change women's sports. Like that's just kind of a part of his legacy. That stadium match was a big part of it. And it's crazy to think that, he's sitting there and saying that he knows people are going to ask him what his favorite moment is or what the best moment in his career is. And he's like, everybody's probably going to think the stadium match, but really his what he says he wants his lasting legacy to be is that a former player from the state is now taking over the program. Somebody that he coached is now taking over the program. That's something that he wants to be known for. And you keep talking about not going out on top. That's funny, because I thought the same thing. Is like, over this last season, I was sitting there and I'm like, if they win, just watching him throughout the season, just watching him kind of take everything in and soak everything in, you just had this feeling of, if they win the national title, I think he's done. Like that was the feeling for me, at least, that if they go out on if they win the national title down in Louisville, that John Cook at some point close to the end of the season is going to be like, okay, guys, I'm done. This is it. That's the end of my tenure here at Nebraska, right? But he said himself that he wanted to go out on top, right? But his version of on top was while he's still having fun.
Right.
He didn't want to leave this program in a place where he's not having fun and that everything sucks. And he's like, well, I guess I'll just leave now. Like, this isn't fun anymore. I don't like this. The team isn't good, all this stuff. His version of going out on top was he has had the most fun coaching these last 2 years than he's ever had. His own words. And that's when he said that he wanted to go out, and that's why he's leaving now, is he feels like it's in a really good spot. Nebraska's in a really good spot. He still loves the sport. He still loves coaching, but he thinks it's just time for him to move on.
Yeah.
He says that he's missed so much. He was getting really emotional at the beginning of the presser, and he kind of opened it with this, is he missed a lot of time with his own kids to coach. He has a granddaughter. His daughter is pregnant again with another child. He doesn't want to miss the time with his grandchildren. And I respect the hell out of that.
This is crazy, because that's what I was going to ask you, being a young man who now has a young family. Both of you, actually, I would love to hear your answer to this because, you know, I'm a little bit older now and I have retired and I've experienced the
You're just
level.
a couple years older than Rico. You're only 35. So
Yeah,
you're
it's
good.
not that.
that is
Yeah,
true.
I'm
Not
just
too-
talking
not
about
too far.
crazy. What are you
You
talking
guys
about?
almost crossed paths at Bell West.
Yeah,
did.
yeah, we did almost. He was just a
I-
little bit, you know, shorter.
I would have shown him who a real athlete is. That's
But no, real talk. Like when you've had that kind of career and now you've made, as you said, you know, the commitment to retire and spend that quality time. What does it look like for you? You've been here. You've been in the heartland of America for all of those years. It's something that you've known, and like you can understand. Like, for example, when Tom Brady, you know, decided that, you know, the time is up, right? It's a wrap for me. Even with Peyton Manning and the likes of those guys, and it's that thing that you've always known. It's the thing it's that routine that you've always been a part of. You've been in. You've heard the screams and the noise, and you've got to touch the hearts and minds of these young women that have come through your program. What does it look like for you? Do you go to like Destin, Florida, and just kind of live it up, and like you said, just spend the time with the fam? Like I'm asking because
Well, for
I
him,
would
no.
love to know. Well, what I'm saying is I would love to know how you think or perceive it would be for him, because you may have heard it, or like how would you feel, and what would that look like if you was in this position and you decided to leave the game after such an illustrious career?
Well, we kind of had this in our text chat the other day, and Austin, I completely agreed with him where he said, I can see Austin. This is what Austin said yesterday, that he can see him sticking around and helping out with the program, doing things like that. He could also see him just going off the map, just going to Montana, Wyoming, wherever his daughter lives right now, and just being a cowboy, just doing whatever he's going to do. Right. He did say in the presser that he was going to be available to Danny and to the program and whatever needs that they wanted. Troy Dannon said that he's like a special assistant to the athletic director. So he's still going to have some say and some power within the program. But for the most part, I think he's just going to relax. I think he's just going to go and spend his time with his family, especially now, the offseason. He's not going to have to worry about, coaching beach. He's not going to have to worry about going through recruiting and trying to re-recruit his own
NIL.
roster, making sure nobody leaves, going to the portal and seeing if he's going
Right.
to bring people in, deciding if he's going to fill up his roster or leave it the way that it is with the amount of athletes that he currently has on it. He can just go and just be a grandpa.
Yeah.
I think that's a very tricky line to walk because I pay attention to Duke basketball, for those of you who don't know.
What?
You know,
Of course.
Duke
Oh,
basketball
well,
guy,
shoot,
right?
of
Shooting
course.
coach in my mind and all that.
The
But
blue.
Stop.
don't even. The Blue Devils is what Tricky was going to say. Let me just fill in that blank for him. But what happened at Duke with Mike Krzyzewski, who is probably an equal level figure, right, in his
Yeah.
sport to what John Cook is, Coach K stayed away a lot in that first year. Still had his office, right? Would occasionally watch practice, would be there doing a lot for the university, but he did more for the university than he did the program. And that was Shire's in his third year. So that was the first year 2 years ago. Last year, he's starting to come around, maybe a little bit more, but not a whole lot. And then this year, he's been at quite a few home games. He's had the most presence, the most visibility in year 3 than he's had since he retired. And I think that's going to be interesting to monitor with John Cook too, because it's hard to walk that fine line, especially when you're so close to it, the program, and so close to the people in the program, right? Those levels of relationships. You don't want John Cook there looking over, Danny Busboom Kelly's shoulder or Jalen's shoulders or Kelly's shoulders, whoever else, saying, this is what I would have done. I don't think that's who he is, right? I think he understands the dynamics, but those coaches have to know exactly what his level of involvement is. He does not help in practice unless he is asked. He does not, talk to players, give him a pep talk unless he is asked. And sure, they're not going to be mad at him if he does something. I'm sure. It's John Cook. He was their coach too, for the most part. But if John Cook really wants to detach himself from the program, he can't have second thoughts about this, right? He goes in, he helps when he's asked, not when he wants to or when he sees something wrong, right? It's going to be hard to sit back and watch some of the bumps in the road, I'm sure. But same thing for the university too. He's got to be very clear with Troy Dannon what the boundaries are. When am I available to help? What am I willing and available to help with? Like, sure, give me a call if someone's going wrong, but really it's your thing, right? I'll give you a little bit of advice, but I don't want you coming to me for every little thing.
Yeah.
Now that I'm retired, I don't necessarily I didn't necessarily do this for you, Troy Dan. And I
Yeah.
don't think that's a worry, but it is just the reality of the situation. It's pretty hard to thread that needle. So,
well, one thing for sure is we've got somebody to talk even more about this that's going to be coming on, and we definitely want to allow him some space and time.
because he's a busy man.
He's a busy man today. There's a
Arneal.
lot. Lincoln Arneal of Husker Illustrated and Volleyball State Podcast is going to be joining us here on the block. We want to give him plenty and ample time to discuss this this breakthrough that's now happened at Husker in Huskerland in the volleyball space. So we're going to get out of here, take a quick break, and we're going to bring in Lincoln Arneal when we get right back right here, 937 The Ticket on the block.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
At Lincoln Family Chiropractic, they believe everyone deserves to live a pain-free and active life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic specializes in customized care for every patient to promote faster healing, allowing you to get back to an optimal life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic goes beyond chiropractic care. They offer physical therapy, massage therapy, nutritional counseling, and wellness classes. Give Lincoln Family Chiropractic a call today at 402-484-5166. Visit them online at lincolnfamilychiro.com or in person, 1 block south of 70th and A Street in Lincoln.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
The Jerky Bowl has kicked off at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska. From now until halftime of the big game, every online order gets you entered into their incredible giveaway. The grand prize is a 30-bag jerky sample pack, $225 value, while second place is a 15-bag sample pack, while third place is a Be Mine jerky box. Perfect for Valentine's Day. Order now at smokinggunjerky.com, and if you enter promo code EARLY, you'll not only get 10% off your order, but also be entered twice for the drawing. It's the Jerky Bowl at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and we wanted to give a special shout out to all of our great customers, thanking you all for a record-setting year in 2024. Now let's get the new year rolling with some big savings. Right now at Cobble, we have some of the biggest discounts in the area with over $12,000 off list price or 0% APR on select new models. So stop on in the dealership or hit us up online at cobblecars.com to get true low country overhead in action. $12,000 off list or 0% APR right now at Cobble. So please stop on in or visit us at cobblecars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back here during On the Block. This segment brought to you by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows is based out of Hallam, Nebraska. They offer a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty on everything while keeping their prices affordable. Check them out at 402-430-3852, or you can visit online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Well, as Strick said, as Rico said, we are joined by special guest Lincoln Arneal with us in the studio. Lincoln, pleasure to meet you. Thanks for coming in. It's a little bit going on for you.
You know, this busy time of the year, you don't think it'll be January, but when news breaks, volleyball gets its time in the spotlight, we'll take it.
That we will. Let's just start with this. What do you know? What are you hearing? What are you piecing together about why was the right time for John Cook to retire now?
I think he talked a lot about it being a gut feeling. I think it goes back to that too. And I think you look at what Danny's got going in her life. I don't know if there was any pressure that was coming from her side, like she's about to have her second child, or it's that she's been at Louisville for 8 years too. And that's kind of, we want to put down permanent roots here in Louisville, or Nebraska has a strong pull back to her. So it kind of was in that time period, like, is it now or forever? And I don't know if that factored into a little bit, but it could have. And I think just John talked a lot about too, that the last couple of years have been so fun that you would have liked to win a national title, but to go to a couple Final Fours and have chances at national title with the group and have as much fun as they did, it seemed like everything had wrapped up nicely.
Well, one quick question on my side is, when you look at someone that is that caliber, has that illustrious type of career, and they leave, does the relationship get affected with players in those types of situations? The assessment of what's going on. What is the new coach coming in have to do, and the conversations they have to kind of keep things rolling. We know there's a familiarity, with her coming, but.
And I think having Jalen and Kelly sticking around helps that tremendously. And that was one of my favorite stories that John told, is after he told them the news, he didn't know how they were going to act. So they kind of went like, we need 5 minutes. Like, what are they going to talk about? They're going to get the transfer. Are they out? Well, what's going on? But they came back and said, we're in. How can we support Danny? How do we build this? So, I think
that's beautiful.
It's a lot of programs that go there. You saw this happen to Oregon. Oregon's coach left. Everyone's out.
Wow.
And you don't know who's going to be the next coach there too, but they commit to, at Nebraska, I think volleyball, John has built it, is, yes, he's the figurehead, but there's a lot more to Nebraska volleyball than just John Cook.
Beautiful.
Was it always a surefire thing the Jalen Rays and Kelly Hunter were going to stick around? Was that in the works for a while? Did they have other options? What made them decide to stick around?
I don't think it was guaranteed, but I think their familiarity with Danny helped out too. They both have worked with her. Jalen had met her a few times. Kelly, she talked about meeting her on the recruiting trip. So I think the familiarity that she has with them, and I think also maybe Danny realizes that unless I want to do a complete overhaul, rebuild, I need to have some continuity. So I think that helps their case too. And they've proven to be loyal assistants, and Jalen's built some of the best defenses in the country, and Kelly has some good works going on with the setters as well too. So they've proven themselves that they aren't just token hires because they've been around from Nebraska and they're part of the John Cook tree, that they are good coaches.
I do want to make sure we keep this conversation too more on the John Cook side, right? That's fresh right now. I think as we get more with Danny Busboom Kelly, her hiring, the introduction a week from today, I think we can talk more about that then. But when you look at John Cook going out now, right? I mean, the last 10 years you talked about, maybe the most successful run in volleyball history. I mean, they've been in the Final Four more than they've been out of the Final Four. That's just kind of crazy, right? It's kind of a bummer for fans to see, this class so far. I mean, halfway through without a national championship, John Cook not win it with them. But that's really a dynamic that I don't think is for fans to say John Cook's right for doing that, wrong for doing that. Because if he's having the time of his life, I mean, on top for John Cook, he's earned the right to decide what on top is for him instead of having the fans say, why didn't you go out on top with a natty?
Well, that's a very narrow definition of on top too. I mean, you list all that. I mean, that's you like to have that championship mentalities, but I think what John really illustrated today was the journey to get there too. I mean, I think it's a celebration that you see when they make it to the Final Four. That is an accomplishment. You should be proud of that. You should be proud of winning back-to-back Big Ten championships. So I think even for his entire 25 years, John Cook made 12 Final Fours. I mean, to open the
Almost
year
half
up
of your freaking career in the Final Four, bro.
To have a 50-50 chance each year to make
Flip
the Final Four. That is,
Jeez.
and more often than not in the past decade, it's been more often than not. I mean, 3/4 of that time they're going.
So when John Cook today was talking about getting Danny ready, kind of to take over the reins, and we're keeping this kind of on John Cook, he told her, like, you need to have that experience. She's an assistant. She leaves. She goes to Tennessee, Louisville, comes back to Nebraska, gets the head coaching job at Louisville. Do you think at that time that he knew, like, this is going to be the person that's going to take over for me, or went along doing his coaching thing?
I don't think that he knew specifically, but if you look at other assistants who came before Danny, this is the path that he encouraged them to. I mean, Craig Skinner, he was working together 4 years, go off to Kentucky. Lizzie Semke went off to Georgia. Lee Mace went out to Virginia. Chris Thomas also at Illinois. I think he wants coaches who work under him. He wants to work with assistant coaches who want to be head coaches. I think that's a key thing. And I think Danny's a little bit different because she's a legacy, a local product. But I think he likes for coaches to get out there, see how other people coach, see how it can work, and build their own program. And then Danny's one of the few of the. I mean, Craig Skinner has a national title too as a former Nebraska assistant, but Danny's really built up a program that was middling and really proved that she has the chops to build a program and carry and not only build it up, but then sustain that success.
And we talk about John Cook and his success at Nebraska, obviously in the 25 years, the 12 Final Fours, all of those, the 4 national championships. But another part of it that I feel like can't be left out is the coaching tree that he has established. The amount of coaches that he has placed in other universities, other places just around the country, around the globe. Like, John Cook, it's kind of like the Nick Saban school for coaches, except for it's not coaches who don't coach good. It's getting coaches started at Nebraska and then going on and spreading their wings and having success, finding success in other places.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned all those coaches before. Tyler Hildebrand's now the head coach at St. Mary's. The head coach at Loyola Marymount was a grad assistant at Nebraska. Bree Henry down at Ole Miss. I mean, these players who were part of the graduate program at Nebraska. It's not just assistant coaches because there's only a limited number of spots each year. I think that you talked about, that was his most proud accomplishment that he talked about, was not only building a program where a former player wants to come back and be a coach, but also a native daughter of the state to do that. And I think that's not just limited to Danny, but the impact he has on programs across the country with what other people to come through the program.
We're talking with Lincoln Arneal, writer for Huskers Illustrated, as well as a host of the Volleyball State podcast. Lincoln, when you think back through the John Cook tenure, what's the most standout adjective, the biggest trait that made John Cook so successful and came to define Nebraska volleyball under his watch?
Growth, I think, is, that it encapsulated a little bit. I think, growth and / learning. I think John Cook never quit learning. He wanted to learn how to be a better coach, how to build a better program, how to get more people to watch that. And I think it's that growth mindset that really allowed him to change and adapt his coaching style too. Because the John Cook that we saw at that press conference, who was getting choked up after a minute into it, is not the same John Cook that we saw being introduced next to Terry Pettit 26 years ago. So I think that it's that growth mindset, realizing that he his approach worked for that time, but he has to adapt with the athletes and adapt to the times.
Is there a moment that you could see that growth come into play where was John Cook 1.0 and what was the birth of John Cook 2.0, if you want to call it that?
I think, to me, I don't know if it's a moment, but the time period, right around like 2010 to 2012, I think he had some health issues and also coaching his daughter. And maybe if you want the one specific moment, it's when he became a grandpa. I mean, I think Grandpa John is a little bit different than just parent John. I think that opened up a whole new softer side of him as well too. So I think those two moments, the health scare and kind of questioning burnout, and then also becoming Grandpa John.
Again, when you look at someone of that level and they leave, like, what's your perception or your thought? Because is it something where you would hope that a coach would remain close, or would it be better to allow Danny to have space and time to develop those types of relationships? Like, how would you perceive it based on your experience?
I think that because Danny is from John's coaching tree, having him around is not going to be a huge disruption. So I think, I mean, it is, if you had brought someone in who, like in football terms, was running a different kind of offense or was running a different type of program, that may be a disruptive way the program's running. But I think you look at how they run their programs, they're very similar. And I think John is going to be very supportive. I think he also knows enough that he has to give Danny space to run things. So I don't think it's a detriment at all. I think it'll help things, and it'll help the players as well too. And also, I mean, being coach at Louisville is different than being coach at Nebraska, and having Danny to have someone to call and say, I have to go speak to 4 different civic groups this week. How did you handle this? So I think it's just the little things that you may not have to do when you're coach of Louisville to Nebraska. I think it'll be nice for her to have someone to lean on for those experiences.
John Cook didn't talk a whole lot about specific games or memories or anything like that. Did bring up that 2005 Washington match as well, that team that battled back from the brink. What's the defining match or moment of John Cook's volleyball tenure at Nebraska on the court as you think of it?
I mean, the national titles are easy, but to me, the one image I have of John, I don't know if it's a picture or just watching on TV, is watching him in Memorial Stadium, kind of gazing out among the 92,003 fans. I think that's just kind of a pinnacle of look. I mean, where else does that happen? It took his vision, it took his ambition, it took a lot of guts to do that. So I think that to me is one of the lasting legacies. It's also such a different photo because you're used to seeing him in polos in a gym, and here he is in a football stadium, probably the younger John Cook's dream, with fans all around him to watch a volleyball match too. So I think when I think of John, that's the image that I see, is the photo of him at Volleyball Day in Nebraska.
My last question, and it's really quick. You talked about Pettit and you talked about Cook side by side. You've seen that maturation up to who he is now. What have you seen from the time that he was younger, the invigoration, the poise, the changes, the understanding of the losses, and being able to handle the wins? Because that's tough. When you're always the one that's everyone's looking at you and they're throwing darts and arrows, it's tough to handle. What have you seen in that?
I think that for what I've seen from John too is that I think he's realized he's appreciated the journey a lot more too. I think he's become a lot more relationship focused as opposed to results oriented. I think through those relationships you get the results, but I think that's one of the bigger shifts. So you talk about softer John. What does that mean? Well, I think it's being more relationship based. That's kind of where he's made a big turn.
Is there a team that better embodies that than this last year's team?
No, I think what you saw from him, I mean, especially him and Harper Murray, the bond that they went through and formed and developed kind of out of the trouble that she kind of went through last year. You saw it called for a different John, and he handled it very differently than he would have a decade ago and kind of dealt with that situation. So it's very impressive. So I think that team and just the energy they have and the social media, and they were a fun team to be around. And Rico, you know this, you were around them a lot too. I mean, they just had a good time at press conferences. They would joke, they would talk about their new pet dog or whatever. So.
We're asking him about TikToks, and he's talking about, I don't really know what's going on. They just tell me what to do, and I just do it.
Yeah,
like that. John would not have done that, 6 years ago.
That takes a lot of trust you put in your players. Like, yes, they're gonna. I mean, they might laugh at you a little bit, but it's because they like you, and they're not in there to degrade you, but it's because they respect you and want you to be part of the inside jokes.
We're talking to Lincoln O'Neill, Huskers Illustrated, co-host of Volleyball State podcast. Lincoln, kind of keeping it on the players a little bit with John Cook, have you heard anything from current or, new players or recruits in next year's class, anything about this kind of sudden retirement from John Cook?
I haven't yet. I mean, they heard the news only a few hours before we did, so I'm sure they're going through a lot of processing and figuring out too. I haven't been able to talk to any of the players yet. We'll see if we get availability with them soon, hopefully next week when Danny's introduced. So I mean, you see is a social media post, and almost all of them have posted the John Instagram post and then the Danny Instagram post. So I think. I mean, it's read the tea leaves into social media, what you will, but at least they're posting that as a good sign that they're bought in and they're bought into the future of the program.
There you go. It's Lincoln Arneal, like Rico said, a writer for Huskers Illustrated, co-host of the Volleyball State podcast. Definitely check it out, Lincoln. Hopefully we can have you on next week. Talk more about what Nebraska under Danny Busboom Kelly looks like when she's officially introduced. Thanks a ton, man. Best of luck staying on top of everything. I know it's a lot developing, but thanks for your time.
And Lincoln, tell us how the people can find you and get this great content from you as well.
Twitter at Lincoln_VB. Do Threads, do Blue Sky, whatever. Also, we recorded 2 podcasts yesterday. They're on YouTube. Of course, we had a 90-minute great discussion. And then, it's all irrelevant. Most of it's not all irrelevant, but a little bit. Just updated very quick. We missed the biggest story of the day, but hey, we put it out there. So Volleyball State, we'll have our feed fixed here soon. But follow my Twitter feed is probably the best way to get access to all of that.
There you go. At Lincoln_VB. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for stopping in.
You bet. Thanks, guys.
We'll go to break. Shoot out with Strick next. Call now 402-464-5685.
Come get this
4
smoke.
For Stricky, 4 for you. $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings on the line.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to hear their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Fierce Cheese Spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Fierce Cheese Spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fierce Cheese Spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Having diabetes doesn't have to ruin your new year. Join a Nebraska-supported program like Living Well with Diabetes. You'll learn how to manage your symptoms, feel more confident, and reduce stress about your diagnosis. Search Nebraska Living Well with Diabetes and click on the DHHS Healthy Living Programs page to learn more. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers throughout the day. Otherwise, cloudy skies and an afternoon high near 50. So that chance of showers continues over that low around 32. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies returning with a light breeze and an afternoon high near 51. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game.
Don't be running scared from Stricky. Come on now. Give the man a challenge. 402-464-5685. Stricky.
Hey.
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling ready. Feeling inspired.
Are you?
Looks like somebody's trying to sneak in here and get some Ayuki. You know what that is, Austin?
The Ayuki? What?
Ayuki.
No, I don't know what that is.
How have you not played Street Fighter, my boy? It's the super uppercut on Street Fighter. Ayuki. Somebody's about to get that. Somebody's about to get that.
That somebody on our Honda of Lincoln hotline is James. James, how are you?
Good.
Good deal. You know the rules here of the game?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. Hold on the line. We'll get Stricky his 4 questions, and then we will get to you. Volleyball related, Stricky. We had to do it to you.
God.
Your round starts here in 3, 2, and 1. They won the 2020 National Championship in volleyball. Kentucky or Pittsburgh?
Kentucky.
Yep. Who did Nebraska defeat in the 2017 National Championship? Penn State or Florida?
Florida.
Yep. Who did Nebraska defeat in the 2006 National Championship? Stanford or Washington?
Washington.
It was Stanford. It's the most recent team. They're the most recent team to win back-to-back volleyball national championships. Most recent team to go back-to-back.
Texas.
Stricky says Texas. He nails it. Good job, Stricky. Good job. That is 4 out of 5 possible points. All right, James, 4 to tie. Perfect round to win.
You didn't know nothing. Let's go, James.
You ready, James?
All right. Yeah.
Okay, your round starts here in 3, 2, and 1. They won the 2021 National Championship. Minnesota or Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
Yep. Who did Nebraska defeat in the 2015 National Championship? Texas or Kansas?
Texas.
Yep. Who did Nebraska defeat in the 2000 National Championship? USC or Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
Yep. And they're the most recent team to win 3 national championships in 4 seasons.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Wisconsin.
James says Wisconsin. It is not Wisconsin. It's the Cardinal. It's Stanford. The answer is Stanford. They won in the gap year between Nebraska's national championships in 15 and 17, and then took the next two. James, a valiant effort. Thanks for playing again soon. You did it, Stricky.
Stricky got one.
You did it.
Yo, I told y'all I was all yuking. I was Street Fighter in here today.
Straight up, Stricky.
Yeah.
Way to go.
I don't even remember the guys' names. Who were the guys' names in Street Fighter? It was Ryu. What is it? Sergeant Guile or
Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club?
Baraba.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something Honda, the big sumo dude. Help me out. 402-464-5685 when we get back.
Ryu, Akuma, Zangief, Chun-Li, Guken, Fei Long, M. Bison, Cammy, Ken Masters, Guile.
Yeah, I did say
Dalsum.
Who?
Dalsum?
Dalsum is the Indian dude that would tip top.
Ibuki?
Golly, you guys know all of them.
Tricky, I looked it up.
Oh.
Don't give the text line credit for my hard work.
Okay. Yeah,
Rude.
text line's garbage.
No, they're not garbage. We love you. Thanks to Starter Human Jewelers for that text line and our comment section on stream, by the way. All right, Stricky. We got to play the tiebreaker question. Let's go with...
You got multiples. I know you.
Let's go Texter 5.
Right.
Over, under, or push Stricky's answer. Stricky, how many games has Nebraska volleyball won in program history? How many games has Nebraska volleyball won in program history? How many matches? Not how many sets, not how many points. How many matches has Nebraska volleyball won in program history?
823.
Stricky says 823. Texter number 5, over, under, or push Stricky's answer at 402-464-5685.
Oh, wait, pause.
We'll get
Pause.
the $30
No, I'm
to
not.
Buffalo
No,
Wings and rings.
No,
we'll go to break.
No, I don't
Over,
understand
under,
the question.
Push
I didn't
Stricky's
understand
answer,
the question.
823.
No,
We'll give
I
the
thought you were
answer when
talking
we get
about
back.
matches.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Hey, Husker Nation. This is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top-quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
At Lincoln Family Chiropractic, they believe everyone deserves to live a pain-free and active life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic specializes in customized care for every patient to promote faster healing, allowing you to get back to an optimal life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic goes beyond chiropractic care. They offer physical therapy, massage therapy, nutritional counseling, and wellness classes. Give Lincoln Family Chiropractic a call today at 402-484-5166. Visit them online at lincolnfamilychiro.com or in person, 1 block south of 70th and A Street in Lincoln.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers throughout the day. Otherwise, cloudy skies and an afternoon high near 50. Tonight, the chance of showers continues over that low around 32. And tomorrow we'll see mostly sunny skies return with a light breeze and an afternoon high near 51. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The Jerky Bowl has kicked off at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska. From now until halftime of the big game, every online order gets you entered into their incredible giveaway. The grand prize is a 30-bag jerky sample pack, $225 value, while second place is a 15-bag sample pack, while third place is a Be Mine jerky box. Perfect for Valentine's Day. Order now at smokinggunjerky.com, and if you enter promo code EARLY, you'll not only get 10% off your order, but also be entered twice for the drawing. It's the Jerky Bowl at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Fear's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Fear's cheese spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fear's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Sports Show! The 56th Annual Boat Sport and Travel Show is bigger and better than ever. January 31st to February 2nd at the Sand Hills Global Event Center in Lincoln. Don't miss it. Sports Show!
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and we wanted to give a special shout out to all of our great customers, thanking you all for a record-setting year in 2024. Now let's get the new year rolling with some big savings. Right now at Cobble, we have some of the biggest discounts in the area with over $12,000 off list price or 0% APR on select new models. So stop on in the dealership or hit us up online at cobblecars.com to get true low country overhead in action. $12,000 off list or 0% APR right now at Cobble. So please stop on in or visit us at cobblecars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Davis Plumbing has been in business for over 15 years and is currently searching for journeyman plumbers to join their team. Experience is preferred, but not required for all applicants. When you join the team at Davis Plumbing, you'll receive full benefits package with paid time off. Join a small local business doing big things in Lincoln and surrounding areas. Apply today by calling 402-525-6922 or find them on social media. Davis Plumbing, locally owned and operated for over 15 years.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NIPCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome back into On the Block, hour 2 of a Thursday show. We'll dive more into hoops after we put a bow on the volleyball conversation for now. Don't worry, we'll circle back next week with the official installment of Danny Busboom Kelly as Nebraska's head coach 1 week from today. Looks like we got something on the books with Lincoln again, so we'll have him in to talk about the start of the DBK era for Nebraska volleyball. In case you're just now tuning in, John Cook has retired. So good conversation about that in hour 1. Thanks to Lincoln Arneal for stopping in. Thanks for Rico. Good to hear from Ms. Strick with calling
man.
The Juggernaut. Appreciate him stopping by.
It's always good to have Rico stop in, especially with his his great insight on the volleyball program and even with the professional volleyball and all the things that he's covered. And And we're just glad to have him as a resource here at the Ticket. He's a tremendous resource to have.
That we are. Also tremendous, Nebco. Really appreciate Nebco, their sponsorship of the show. They are hiring some mechanics and some CDL drivers. Check them out at constructorslincoln.com, readymixedconcrete.com, or the easiest way, nebcoinc.com, nebcoinc.com. 402-464-5685 is where we turn our attention right now. The winner of the trivia question, of the tiebreaker, is Ashley. The question was, how many matches has Nebraska volleyball won as a program? Stricky said 823. John Cook almost won that on his own. 722. Terry Pettit won 694. And Pat Sullivan, the first coach in Nebraska volleyball history, won 83 games in 2 years. That is a grand total, Stricky, of 1,499 matches won by Nebraska volleyball. So Danny Busboom Kelly's first win could be at Pinnacle Bank Arena and could be number 1,500 for the program.
Dang it.
How about that?
Wasn't even close. That's unbelievable.
And I had faith in you. I thought you were going to come through for me, Stricky, but Rico was right. The Bell West connection was not strong there.
It was. The force wasn't strong with this one. That's okay. In my Yoda voice. It's all right, though.
Yeah.
But Ashley, I won doggone shootout.
You did. You win the game. That's what matters. So, Ashley, we texted you. Send in your information. Swing by the studio and pick up your Buffalo Wings and Rings gift certificate. We will play again next week on Tuesday and Thursday. That is important for you because if you win your $30 to Wings and Rings, guess what? That's a built-in excuse to come see us down at Wings and Rings on 68th and O for the Super Bowl watch party, right? We're excited to be back out there again on Super Bowl Sunday, February 9th. We would love it if you would come out and support us at the Ticket, support our friends down at Buffalo Wings and Rings. Great food, great staff, great environment, and some yahoos wearing red, white, and black will be there as well. So it'll be a good time. It always is with them. Again, February 9th, Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O. John and Cortland, what's up, Blockheads? What's up with you? John and Cortland, you're a Blockhead.
Yes,
Appreciate you.
Man. Appreciate
Thanks
you as
for reaching
always. All the Blockheads that show up 2 to 4. We've got some good news that's coming on with that in another week. Oh, well, another 2 business days.
Yeah, 2 business days. So if you missed it, starting Monday, yours truly, and Jay Foreman. 3 to 5.
It's going to be an on the block party. It's going to be an on the block party.
Everything you love about the crossover expanded for 2 hours.
Oh yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to add 2 Hall of Famers together in different genres of sport, but with knowledge.
So
well, you're just a blue. You're just a blue.
Hey now.
I didn't say it.
Hey now.
Watch
yourself.
Say it.
Watch yourself. Thought we were good. Cubsker, is one of the Yahoos going to be Stricky? You down to the Super Bowl party, Stricky?
Down the block.
Wings and Rings. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm going to be there.
There we go.
I'm going to be in the building. I'm going to come in and have some nachos or some good.
You got the salad when you're out there from March Madness.
You don't tell our secrets, man. I'm trying to keep my sexy.
You posted a picture of it. It's out there in public.
Oh gosh, darn it, man.
That ain't on me.
It's unbelievable. You're just telling all my goodies, man.
It is good. I will give you that.
It is very good.
Salad.
The food is phenomenal, actually. I absolutely enjoy it. I might get a chicken sandwich or something this time. Or the salad.
Don't do it. What we are going to do is we're going to listen to Fred Hoiberg.
Yeah.
Nebraska, Illinois tonight at 7:30. We'll be there. We'll be in the building. Huskers trying to snap a 6-game losing streak. They get another crack at PBA. Here's Fred Hoiberg yesterday on how do you stop Illinois?
Yeah, a lot jumps out on problems that they can cause. First of all, they play with a lot of pace. We're going to have to do a good job getting back in transition. They really share it. They do a good job. Creating threes. Jaco Jonas is unbelievably impressive at the point guard position for his age, assist to turnover ratio. He's a wizard in ball screens. So, we're going to have to do a good job, trying to not only contest shots, but contest passes by rotations time and close out with urgency, which we obviously did not do a great job of that early in the game the other day. And, it's funny how this game works and, the basketball gods work. We're down 19-2. Burke dives on the floor, first to floor, makes a great hustle play. And then the next thing you know, we're on a 19-4 run. So, we just have to make a play like that early, to set the tone and hopefully, get the advantage with the 50-50 game. the other thing with Illinois is they are relentless on the glass. They had 21 offensive rebounds in their last game against Northwestern's. They had 15 at Michigan State, which is damn near impossible to do with that team and their physicality. They lead the nation in rebound margin, and they crash everybody. So it's not just, they don't send anybody back. They all 5 crash. And if we don't make contact and play physical, it's going to be a long day.
Let's just jump off on that, Strick. The rebounding portion, Nebraska's struggling a little bit more as of late against a team that Fred Hoiberg said number 1 rebound margin in the country. They pulled down about 32 rebounds per game, give up less than 24 of them, and 13.5 offensive rebounds per game. That's where Nebraska has really struggled at times in the Fred Hoiberg era, is clearing defensive glass. When Nebraska struggles in rebounding, Strick, is it a physical issue or is it a mental issue? Guys check out after the shot goes up and they just mentally transition to offense before they grab the ball.
Well, there's 2 parts to that. One, you've got to understand what type of team that you're playing, right? Are you playing a team that shoots a lot of perimeter jumpers, a lot of threes? Or are you playing?
You are.
Right, you are. So therefore, you're going to have a lot of long rebounds, which in turn, if they're a super athletic team, and i.e. last year's Texas A&M, super athletic, knew what they were going to do. They were going to attack you. They were going to one-on-one beat you, and then they were going to push tempo, similar type of style, and they were going to crash. Right? You can't do any turns, and by any means, and look at the rim. It's always got to be a step out towards your man, check, balls, pause, and any situation should land in front of you. If you're not going to be able to go and get it, let it land in front of you and go track, right? So if you got to face guard guys, if you're not physical enough, you've got to put a body on them and face guard them. We ain't worried about you getting a ring. We're worried about somebody else getting it. And you have to do that. So you're also talking about a team that doesn't shoot well from 3. i.e., that's why they crash, because they know they don't shoot the ball well. So now you've got another dynamic that you're dealing with. One, are we going to see a repeat of what we saw in Texas A&M, who doesn't shoot at 20-something%, and they end up going buck wild 40% from 3, or are they going to dominate you? And that's where you've got to be able to do these things, be fundamental on the defensive rebounds, be fundamental on transition defense, don't turn the ball over. And you want to make sure that you're solid and you're getting good shots on the other end, which leads to good balance as far as getting back on D.
When you look at Illinois and how they shoot from long range, that's been a staple of Brad Underwood at Illinois. Going back to Oklahoma State is 1 year he was there, and then his previous mid-major stops as well. They're going to be long, athletic, aggressive, and they're going to play a pretty modern style, shooting a lot of threes. Illinois this year's Strick is taking 31 attempts from 3 per game, 7th most in the country, and they're making 9.9 of them, but that's only 32%. They make a lot, they take a lot, but they don't necessarily shoot them all that well. Now, if we look at the guys that are shooting them, number 1, Ben Humrichus, he's averaging about 6 3-pointers per game, making him 37%. That's respectable. Kasparas Jakusjonas, we'll get back to him in just a second. He's taking 5 per game, knocking him down at 38%. That's respectable, especially for a lead guard who's handling the ball a lot. You look at Kylan Boswell off the bench for Arizona a little bit last year. He's been a starter for Illinois. He takes 4 a game, only shoots 25%. That's the guy in Nebraska goes under screens on pretty much all night long. Will Riley started the year off super hot from 3, is all the way down to 31%. And he plays a pretty big role for them off the bench. And then their role guys are all in that, 28 to 30% range. Maybe, Strick, the biggest advantage that Nebraska could have tonight is that Illinois will be missing its starting center, Tomislav Ivisic. He's missed the last few games. There's a bug going around Illinois' team. They were kind of sick, but Ivisic has mono. And the reason that's important, I think, for Nebraska is that's a 7'1" guy that shoots 35% from 3 that can hang out on the perimeter where Nebraska's bigs don't always look comfortable. Oh, and he also averages a team best 8.5 rebounds per game for Illinois to go with even, 2 assists, which is second or third on the team as well. That's a playmaking big man that Nebraska won't have to worry about tonight. That's not a reason for Nebraska to relax, but we've talked so much about Nebraska missing its identity. Illinois is down a little bit of its own with the 7'1", stretch big missing for tonight's game.
What that tells me is this: 2 things. One being the major, in bold letters, opportunity.
Yeah.
That means there's an opportunity there for you to be able to to lose an effective piece on what they do, both in crashing as well as in stretching you out on the defensive side of things. Okay, so you've got a point guard that's very good. He as you know, Fred alluded to on the presser, that he's a master. He's masterful in running pick and rolls. Now you don't have to worry about those types of coverages, switching or anything, getting yourself in a disadvantage with that missing. But the other opportunity is if you rebound, knowing that they don't shoot well, you must run for opportune situations to get easy transition buckets. You've got to turn that into a what's the word I'm looking for? You've got to take something that can be a negative and turn it into a positive. Give me a good word for it.
Yeah, you kind of just got to flip the matchup on its head, right? Use their strength against them.
There you go.
You know,
yeah, you got to turn that, and make what's something that you haven't been doing well as of late, something that they do well, and make it a positive on you. You've got to make sure that you win that the transition, those differentials in transition, and as far as rebounding. Like, look, you know they're going to get some offensive rebounds. That's just what they do. They do it well, but you can't let that differential be so crazy that it takes away opportunities for you. And we know what happens when second chance points for Nebraska. It's usually something happens negatively, whether it's another bucket or a three. You know, they're stepping into a bucket naked three and they're knocking them down. That's what you just don't want to happen tonight.
It's really not what you want to happen tonight. Kasparas Yakushonis, Strick, is a stud. He's similar to Dylan Harper, but a little bit different, right? Both guys are lefty, so Nebraska's seen a little bit of that before. Both guys will have the ball in their hands a buttload, right? A boatload. That's really what Illinois does right now, is they run everything through the 6'6" freshman who came up, Strick, with FC Barcelona over in Spain, right? He's Lithuanian, but he was playing some La Liga basketball. That's where they list him as coming from on the Illinois roster, and then on Sports Reference as well. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, that is an upper level elite professional development program that this guy comes from. He found a coach that's willing to let him cook in Brad Underwood. So, Strick, what are the lessons Nebraska has to take from the last time they had a stud one and done 6'6" point forward freshman come in there? They're building against Dylan Harper. What can Nebraska learn from Rutgers to apply tonight against Illinois?
Well, first of all, you can't let him get comfortable. You've got to make all those shots tough shots for him, because he's a pretty balanced guy. He rebounds with balance. He also assists with balance. So you don't want him to get loose. You want to definitely, I even think you want to be more square up with him. Don't give him any direct, because he's that good. He's good with his physicality of his body. He's got a strong body. He's not easily moved. So he's either going to get himself to the free throw line, in which he shoots at a super high clip of 90%. So don't give him angles. Don't give him situations to where he's going to be able to not, one, put you in a bad situation, because guess what? He's good at finding guys, similar to a player that we saw at St. Mary's. Marshallonis, right? Don't give him angles. Don't give him just I would straight up him. You know, don't let him get to his left as much, especially in situations on the sides, going towards the middle. If you're going to do that switch or whatever you're going to do with it, but at the same time, you want to make sure you just don't let him get just great looks. Don't let him get to the free throw line and start seeing stuff go in. You know, so that's what I think you want to do with him, is just make it a tough night for him. And if he has a great night, it's because he had to work for it, not because you just gave him looks.
I think that's a great way to phrase it. And Strick, I think that the guy that's going to get the first crack at guarding Yakushonis is going to be Bryce Williams. And we heard Fred Hoiberg talk about this yesterday. I don't remember if we played the clip or not, but I think it's worth playing again, even if we did. How does Bryce Williams get out of a little bit of the rut that he's in right now? It starts on defense. Here's Fred Hoiberg on what that looks like for Bryce Williams.
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously Bryce has a lot of responsibility, and that goes with being the best player on the team. And, you know, when I look back on his season, you know, when you look at Hawaii, when you look at Indiana, I mean, he's as good as any player in the league at that time. And there's a lot of attention on him right now, rightfully so. He's a hell of a player and an unbelievable talent. You know, consistency, being better on the ball. You know, he was as good as anybody guarding the ball. Our defensive numbers skyrocketed when we made a change. a year ago and started him at the point. And, a lot of that was because of his defense. So just that defensive intensity, consistent defensive intensity is very important, not only with Bryce, with everybody, with our whole team. And, urgency, that's a big word, urgency, consistency, all those things that you try to do to get your guys going. But you need it out of your older players and your best players. They got to bring it, man. They got to bring it or you're not going to win.
That's a direct challenge to Bryce Williams. Be better on defense and the offense will come. Did you see that in your career, Strick, for you and your teammates when you locked in on defense, offense would follow?
There's no question about it. And that's the thing that I've really been harping on about Juwan. Juwan, lead the charge on the defensive side. Defense is the things that led for my offense to get going because it allowed me to get into transition. It allowed me to push, locking a guy down, getting a tough shot, getting charges. It sets up for that. When you have a guy like Yakashonis, when you have a guy like Yakashonis who plays better on the road than he does at home. At home, he's probably a little bit more free-willed. On the road, he's probably a little bit more focused and tapped in, and he's got like these focal glasses on the task of going in and getting a win. You've got to look at this team that finds itself in the middle of the Big Ten right now. Mm-hmm. They're looking at this as an opportunity. Yep. And if someone's looking at you as an opportunity and you're across from the challenge that helps this team to go, you should be the one that takes the challenge to lock it down, shut it down, and make it happen. It's the same thing that I felt when I remember we played against a Jason Kidd-led team when we were in AAU. We knew that he was the thing that made it go. I had to take that challenge to be able to stop him, keeping him under 10 points, not crazy in assists, not letting him get crazy in transition. It allowed us to be in the game for a fluke, tap in win on a free throw late in the game for them to beat us. So that's what you've got to do. You've got to make this game tough and tight so that at the end of the game, you're not allowing them to be overly confident and free will and when they're taking their shots because they don't shoot them well. So everything's got to be challenged and then everything's got to be secured.
Illinois is a fascinating statistical sort of, I don't want to say anomaly. They're not quite to that level. If you look just at their raw points per game, they average 85.8 points per game, which is 6th in the country out of 364 teams. That's really high scoring. If you look at their offensive rating, so out of 100 possessions, how many points are they expected to score? Only 115, which is still 50th in the country. There's a big gap between 50th and 6th, right? That tells you they're about the volume. They get a lot of possessions. They get a lot of shots up. Same thing on defense, Strick. If you look at just their plain Jane points per game, 69.5 points per game, that's not that special. It's kind of middle of the road in terms of the country, but their defensive rating, 14th. They will lock you up. The only reason you score on them is because they play so fast. Like Fred Hoiberg was saying, if you look at Ken Pomeroy's adjusted tempo numbers, Illinois plays at the 8th fastest tempo in the country, getting about 73 possessions per game. On the other side of that, Nebraska is pretty much smack dab in the middle in terms of pace of play with about 67.5 possessions per game. That's 5.5, 6 possession per game difference between Illinois speed and Nebraska speed. Is Nebraska good enough to control the game at its tempo and slow Illinois down and force them to execute? Or does Nebraska have to get comfortable playing faster and try to create easier opportunities for itself throughout the course of the night?
I think it has to be, if it's not an opportunity to run for a possible easy transition bucket, I even think secondary break type stuff to run into flowbacks or big man running down the lane for a drop off. Those type of things, I think they've got to take those opportunities because we know, you and I both have watched them up close, both on the road in different types of games. And we've also have post game, which will be here tonight for post game. So check that out as well. But we know that they don't run great half court offense.
Yeah.
They just don't. They don't execute well because of the style of the offense that they're running. And so it's not leading to guys coming off curls and getting good shots or getting into a mid-range. It turns into a late clock one-on-one and toss something up and hope that it goes in. And if you're not Illinois where you're a crashing team, then it's an efficient way of playing. That's why I think secondary break opportunity is going to be something. And if you don't have it, get into something, run something very crisp and precise to get you a good shot so you have good balance to get back and stop transition plays.
It's going to be a fascinating game tonight at Pinnacle Bank Arena because I still think Illinois is just a bad matchup for Nebraska, especially the way they're playing now. Let's not forget Nebraska was up double digits on Illinois at the end of the first half in last year's Big Ten Conference Tournament semifinals. Nebraska was 20 minutes away from playing from a Big Ten Tournament championship. And then who went to town in the second half, Stricky?
We know.
Terrence Shannon Jr.
Bandit.
Yep. And guess what? You got a similar but different player in Kasper Yakushonis. Now, there's no Coleman Hawkins, who gave Rink Mass some fits last year. Hawkins wasn't a great asset for Illinois. He was just a good matchup for Nebraska. Some of the same role guys are back. They know what it's going to take to beat Nebraska. The speed at which Illinois plays, how athletic they are, and how they make you beat yourself. They don't turn you over a whole lot despite being pretty long and aggressive, but they will still pressure you. And Nebraska hasn't handled that well. And they shoot a lot of threes. And we've seen teams get hot from three against Nebraska, and it doesn't seem like there's an end in sight for it. But I can also, Strick, see a world in which without the difference-making big man like Ivicic, who they've missed for a couple games now, they're starting to get a little bit better at playing without him. I can see a world where Illinois only shoots, 28, 29, 30% from three. And Nebraska actually does a good job of locking in on the scouting report and rebounding. And I can see the path for Nebraska to squeak through in an ugly game, get back to the dirty, gritty, grimy identity. I wouldn't bank on it, but I think there is actually something in this matchup that, like you said, if Bryce Williams takes the challenge on Yakushonis, defends his butt off, and that's his primary job, and Nebraska rebounds, there's a way Nebraska gets off the schneid.
Yeah. There's a way. If there's a will, that's a little quote that we say or slogan or whatever it is that you call them. But if there's a will, there's a way. To me, the will of what Nebraska is going to bring in PBA, losing streak, if you don't have the will, then you're not going to have the way.
No.
So it's going to be
7:30 tonight. We'll be there. We'll tell you about it during the game and then after the game for post-game as well. Make sure you keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Is there a will and is there a way for the NBA to shorten games? Adam Silver, commissioner of the NBA, seems to be a proponent for 10-minute quarters instead of 12-minute quarters. Baseball did pace of play stuff. Can basketball do pace of play? We'll get into that and more when we get back to On the Block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100 and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Landmark Implement, your John Deere dealer, invites you to their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney on February 5th and 6th. This hands-on event offers expert training on John Deere and Hagie sprayers, covering topics such as machine maintenance, spray tip selection, and exact apply technology. New this year, classes on autonomy preparation, see and spray, and variable rate operation. Don't miss this opportunity, February 5th and 6th in Kearney. Learn more at landmarkimp.com/events.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Bryant at 402-467-1111 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-467-1111.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers throughout the day. Otherwise, cloudy skies and an afternoon high near 50. Tonight, the chance of showers continues over that low around 32. But tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies returning with a light breeze and an afternoon high near 51. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Lincoln Family Chiropractic, they believe everyone deserves to live a pain-free and active life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic specializes in customized care for every patient to promote faster healing, allowing you to get back to an optimal life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic goes beyond chiropractic care. They offer physical therapy, massage therapy, nutritional counseling, and wellness classes. Give Lincoln Family Chiropractic a call today at 402-484-5166. Visit them online at lincolnfamilychiro.com or in person, 1 block south of 70th and A Street in Lincoln.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're rolling right along here during On the Block. Welcome back into the show. Husker, we would love to see you at Buffalo Wings and Rings on 68th and O Street for the Super Bowl. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, Cubs
He
could
did
come through,
mention
holler at us.
He was going to be in town for the Husker Hoops game as well, Stricky. It's a busy day for you and me.
That's a
Ohio
fact.
State in town, and then we're headed straight over to Wings and Rings. So, Husker, definitely stop by, say hi. We would love to see you put a name to the face and all that good stuff. Well, Stricky, Adam Silver, appearing on the Dan Patrick Show earlier this week, made some interesting comments about pace of play, what the NBA is trying to do to get better ratings, right? We've had that conversation a number of times here on the show. Duke guy as well, Adam Silver, shameless plug for the best color blue in that Tobacco Road rivalry, but that's neither here nor there. Adam Silver talking about the potential for 10-minute quarters in the NBA. Here's Kamesh.
The NBA is the only league that plays 48 minutes. And I am a fan of 4 10-minute quarters. I'm not sure that many others are. I mean, putting aside what it means for records and things like that, I think that a 2-hour format for a game is more consistent with sort of modern television habits. I don't think people in arenas aren't asking us to shorten the game, but I think as a television program, being 2 hours, that's Olympic basketball is 2 hours. College basketball, of course, is
But
is
if
40
you
minutes.
like it, I'd say it has kind of a little bit of a push there.
Yeah, but it's such a dramatic change to the game. I mean, I think something like that would have to be talked more about over time.
That would be such a dramatic change to the game. Would it be, Stricky? What's the difference between 10-minute quarters and 12-minute quarters that makes it so dramatic?
Just people are ready to go home. I mean, we live in a microwave generation, unfortunately, and to me, it's gimmicky because
going down to 10.
Well, it's not so much that, but I'll explain why. His thought on it is because the game has become more global, where you're looking at FIBA and you're looking at all these other situations. What they've been seeing is these crazy blowouts. These types of blowouts that we've been seeing in some of the most recent years of NBA play, they're rarities. Back in our times, they would happen, but it wouldn't be as regular as we're seeing across the board now, right? So they wanted to speed up the game. They used not calling as many, taking hands off, doing all those things. But what people loved about it is the scrappiness of what the NBA used to be. So that's gone. So you're trying to figure out a way to probably shrink those margins down, because you can't create as big of leads and margins without, when you take off 8 minutes of time. I don't think it's possible. Because you're talking about some teams scoring 40, 50 points in a freaking quarter, right?
Which isn't common, but happens often enough that it's a thing.
Yeah, right. So I think he's trying to find a way to shrink and make the games more intense. Possibly. That's the only way that I can see it. Maybe taking guys off the court again, because now you're seeing more injuries. They're trying to create all these, the baby's crying, put a passy in their mouth, pause type of situation.
That's not a pause. It's just what you do.
Yeah,
you give a baby a
passy, right? So, yeah, man, it's I don't know. It's gimmicky me. I think you would be better off adding 4 points. Doing things like that. Make the game, add a 4-point shot. Make dunks worth more. Do something like that if you're gonna, if you're seeing too many more threes, then switch it around. Make it either 4, make threes 2, and make dunks 3. Like, do something like that. Make the game, different. Like, again, it's a crazy change, but you're trying to regain interest, or you got to find some way to do that. And guys right now are just, it's a boring game. Like kind of, it's looking boring because everybody's using analytics and everybody's trying to figure out ways to get more. How is one of the most athletic guys in the league right now have the most threes?
Because he's good at shooting them.
And Anthony, Anthony Edwards. I mean, but you don't want that. Like, I get it. It works for you, as far as analytics and that. But now all guys are doing is doing all kinds of 10, 12, 15 dribbles to get to a 3. That's not fun. I mean, we were more efficient back in the day. I mean, 2 dribbles to get to what we wanted. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased. 402-464-5685. Talk to Stricky. I don't know. What are some things that you feel, the listeners, 402-464-5685 on the Stoddard Heyman, the Honda Lincoln hotline.
Let's go to the text line.
Yeah, go to the text. What are some things that you feel could make the game better and more interesting to watch? I would love to know their thoughts.
John and Cortland, Adam Silver sounds like Oprah. You get a raise, same pay for less time. 3764, make the players go to work. Embiid has missed 400 games and played 446. Embiid's also been injured, right? Legitimate injuries are a thing. But that's where Strick, I'm going to jump off on that a little bit. Let's say you do reduce the game by 8 minutes. That's a significant, that's 17% of the game. It's just gone. Just wiped out.
Yeah. Advertisers lose money now.
Right. But aside from legitimate injuries, if you have 8 fewer minutes per game, to me, that puts more of an onus on stars to play, right? Okay, you only got to show up for 40, right? It's the same as college. It's the same as Olympics. It'd be standardized. I kind of like the uniqueness of 48, right? Add those 2 extra minutes. Got to be in a little bit better physical shape, but maybe if you take those extra 2 minutes per quarter out, you do get guys going harder for 40, harder for 35 out of 40 minutes instead of, less hard for 35 out of 48, right? Maybe you can get a better product in less time. I don't know. But then, Strick, I think about the bench guys. To me, Tom Thibodeau would be the best coach in NBA history with 40 minutes of game instead of 48. Because that's 8 minutes per game he can save starters' legs. That's 8 minutes per game, potentially the Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson aren't on the floor. I worry about what 8 fewer minutes per game would do for bench guys. We're maybe even more of a star-driven league where you put more resources into acquiring those types of players because the game is shorter. They can have a little bit bigger impact, and you could more easily make a 6 or 7 man rotation work over the course of a season with 40-minute games instead of, an 8 or 9, maybe even 10 man rotation in the regular season that you shorten down to 7, maybe 8 in the playoffs.
There it is. Let's see what some of the guys are saying. MT Westy says he appreciates the creativity, but I think you would lose more people than gain. That's an interesting take there. What else?
Gorilla Bear makes steals worth a point. But are we going for steals? Because, Rick, you would know, right? There's a difference between a guy who's cherry-picking passing lanes or gambling versus like you with on-ball pressure and actually, poking the ball free, guarding your man.
Yeah.
Not all steals are created equally.
Yeah. And I think that would, you talk about bad defense that's already there. Think about everybody that's going to possibly become matadors like crazy. Like how would that make the game, to me better? Here's something I would think, like, right? There's a game we used to play both in college and sometimes in the NBA, right? We would have multiple teams that were playing, and the game was not necessarily to score. The game was to get stops. So if a team had more stops in a quarter, it's a bonus points that come to that, right? So then it's going to make guys play better defense, possibly. I don't know how you track that yet, but something of that nature, like, you could track it probably, okay, this team had 20 stops to 25. If you have a 10-point differential, that's 3 extra points. Guys like Thibodeau would love that, right? Because that's what they're focused on, playing great, hard defense. Other teams out there like Oklahoma City would love probably something like that. I'm just trying to think of ways to make it more interesting on the defense side. Like, for example, in NFL, they've taken away, a lot of what the defense can do by adding, all these different things like targeting, and the PIs have become crazy. And just a lot of things like that they've tried to make it better for scoring. But how do you feel? Do you feel that much better about the NFL product right now? Quarterbacks haven't gotten better because of the fact that you can't touch receivers as much anymore. Receivers seem to feel more confident.
Numbers have gotten better. Play hasn't gotten better.
Right. There you go.
Axel Foley says, I could see the dunk thing being counteracted, though, because it could be somewhat subjective. Like, did his finger touch the rim? And then you'd have to have a replay stoppage, which is not necessarily what the NBA needs more of. So, yeah, I think that's fair, Axel Foley, because, like, think about, like, the Blake Griffin dunks that we watch on highlights or some of the John Morant ones. Those guys are just hucking the ball at the rim from very close vicinity where it looks like a dunk in real time. It's just so tricky, Strick, because I think baseball saw some of the same pushback with the pitch clock that really wasn't that big of a deal because most guys were already operating inside those bounds anyways. it really just tightened up along the edges, more so than it was a wholesale change that helped it move along. That's simple. It's easy to digest. It's easy to understand. It doesn't really come into play that often. And I don't know what that sort of rule change or style change looks like for the NBA. Because I don't think I would need to refer to the Daryl Morey, Sloan statistic conference types for this. But let's say you do add a 4-point line, hypothetical. Let's say you add a 4-point line. Do we see in 10 years the same thing we're seeing with the 3? What percentage do you have to make from 4 to make that a better shot than 3 to make that a better shot than 2? A certain type of 2, right? Because the most efficient shot in basketball is a free throw. We'll always know that. Attacking, getting downhill, you score the most points per possessions on free throw. It's been that since the end of time. Then the most efficient shot is a dunk or layup at the rim. And then it's a 3. So where does the math work out for the balance of 4-point shots that you're going to take? But do you want a 4-point shot all game? That seems like a stretch to me, right?
Would you have added maybe at the end of quarters or?
But then for a casual fan, does that feel too much like an all-star game? Does it feel too much like it's a little bit of like the spots, right? For the Harlem Globetrotters that you put down on the floor. Why is a shot from right in front of the bench or on the wing worth more than a shot from straight on at the head of the key, right? Even though it's the same distance. There's a way to make it work, I'm sure, whether it is at like the end of a quarter or once a team gets down by 20 points, say, then the 4-point line is enacted or something like that. But that's where I do think that there's a fair point to what someone here was saying was you got to make sure it's digestible for the casual fan.
Yeah.
Which is where like tracking stops and something, adding points for that, in theory, I think sounds great. But is Joe Schmo sitting on his couch at home going to be able to calculate that? When you look in the scorebook, now that we read a lot of newspapers anymore, but you pull up the box score to see that the Jalen Brunson went for 40. But you look down for the points scored and it only adds up to 117, but it says the Knicks have 135 points. Where they get the other 18 points from, it doesn't make sense. And again, some of this is stuff that people can just get used to if it's for the good of the game. If it takes hold, it takes hold. But you got to give people a reason to buy into it. I think baseball, you saw that almost immediately with the pitch clock. Game times going down from like 3 hours and 15 minutes to sub 3 hours pretty quickly, and all the way down to 2.5 hours in a lot of cases. The other thing the NBA could do could just start its games on time, right? If you say it's a 7 o'clock tip, don't tip at 7:07. Tip at 7 or something like that. Can you get rid of the threes in the corner? Is that good for basketball? It's technically a shorter shot with the geometry of the court. Could you widen the court, space it out a little bit more to artificially open up driving lanes? But the other part of it too, Strick, is different athletes. Not saying there weren't athletes back in your day, but think about how teams are building now compared to how teams built when you were played, right? It's a lot more guys in the 6'6" to 6'9" range across positions. That's what the Warriors did to ruin basketball. That is a lot of length on the floor at one time. Maybe more than anything, we need to explore just making the court bigger for a different style of body that's taken to the NBA in the last 15, 20 years.
Oh, that's an interesting take. I think this is something, speaking of what you just said, because this is something to add into the equation of everything, is unnamed texter 3764 says these guys spend millions of dollars on their body, yet Strick and them were injured half as much. How do you answer that?
I think that's fair. I really do. I would love to see the athletic testing numbers and see just how much effort these guys are putting out on a possession by possession basis compared to what it was back when you guys were doing it, right? Because it seems like travel
with more physicality and more Hackett, Shaq type stuff, all of that.
Well, I think what we're seeing, Strick, is that it's different kinds of physicality, right? Again, kind of the baseball thing, because back when you were playing, the physicality was bump and grind and hack and hit. Right now, the physical nature, where the physical part of the game comes into play, is the max effort sprints and jumps and bursts that these guys are putting in. Not that you guys didn't, but I think it's different when you're getting elbowed or you're getting pushed or you're getting your arms hit versus think about how much stress so many of these guys are putting on their legs, by all the jumping that they think they need to do.
Well,
right?
I think what
it's
we're
different
missing
kinds of movements.
Is they're playing way too much basketball now than they have. They're starting at such a younger age. The AAU travel, I mean, I looked at some of these travel teams in the summer. Every weekend they're gone and they're playing 8 hours dang near a day, like 3-4 games a day, just all that stress on the body at that early of an age without having, the ability to weights and training early on in their body. So their ligaments are being stretched and tattered and torn in ways that, we probably didn't, because we didn't have those type of systems that were available to us. So our bodies were able to recuperate and heal, in our off times.
And it's one thing to play through bumps and bruises and, twisted ankles. It's another when you're putting extra stress on your ACL and it snaps, or an Achilles or a shoulder or whatever it is. Huskers P, Strick, let's get your thoughts on this one. Slow the game down. Too many possessions, so make the shot clock longer. What do you say to that one?
I think so. That's maybe what Adam Silver is talking about. Lessen the game a little bit more. The pace of the play is quite hectic. I mean, you're thinking about 24 seconds. By the time you get the ball over, I mean, really, you only have 12, 14 seconds to get into something. So there's really not as much execution at the professional level. And this is what creates this: get the ball to somebody, give them space, and get busy. You only get one or two pick and roll at best, but we did it. So I don't know. I don't know if that would be something, but I don't see why it wouldn't also work.
Do you trust that lengthening the shot clock would? I don't think that would.
I don't think it would change it. No, not initially.
They would still take the first available open three in a lot of cases. And if you're going to lengthen the shot clock, Strick, that makes it harder on defenses. I mean, think about how hard it is to guard some of these NBA actions with how good the shot making is. You give offenses more time to rotate the ball and swing it, I think more guys would give up on defense and would dig in for an extra 5 or 10 seconds sometimes.
Good point.
I don't know. Old Dad 34, I think this is a good way for me to kind of rephrase what I'm saying here. He says it was the same physicality back in Strick's day with the same running amount. The players today are soft and flop too much. I see, again, I don't want to pretend to be an expert here, but just to the naked eye, it looks like a different type of physicality, because when you have clear runways, when guys can't bump you nearly as much, they can't handhold you or hand check you or whatever that is, you have a clear runway, which gives you an easier method of leveraging your athleticism to take off. When there's not as much impediment, you needed more strength to fight through contact maybe back in the day. You didn't have the runways that were nearly as clear. You had physical help defense that you knew would be over there to hit you, right? I think that the different charge rules, I'm not a fan of the charge, but having the charge circle, guys get out of the way. They're probably not taking as many charges now. And so when offensive players know that they're not going to get hand checked, that it's easy for them to draw a foul through just a little bit of contact, and there's not going to be help defense, it's one thing to take arms that have bumps and bruises and have sore fingers and jammed fingers. But when you have a runway like that in an athletic game, you're going to be more likely to want to show off, to make SportsCenter with a cool dunk, to put someone on a poster, that sort of thing. So no, I think that even if guys were just as athletic with the same amount of vertical pop and explosiveness back in the day, I would argue, Strick, it was harder to use it on a consistent basis when you were playing, because defenses could more easily keep that athleticism in check by being physical. Whereas now it's more that Matador, Olay, and these guys on offense feel like they can put on a show, which does put more stress on their legs, their knees, their feet, their core, etc. Is that fair?
Fair assessment. Yeah, fair assessment.
Let's get out of here. Let's go to break. We'll have a short crossover, and then it's Thirsty Thursday. We've talked about it a lot.
I haven't been here for Thirsty Thursday.
We need to slow down. We need to take a drink with Uncle Kev. We'll do that right after we have a crossover.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
At Lincoln Family Chiropractic, they believe everyone deserves to live a pain-free and active life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic specializes in customized care for every patient to promote faster healing, allowing you to get back to an optimal life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic goes beyond chiropractic care. They offer physical therapy, massage therapy, nutritional counseling, and wellness classes. Give Lincoln Family Chiropractic a call today at 402-484-5166. Visit them online at lincolnfamilychiro.com or in person, 1 block south of 70th and A Street in Lincoln.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. It's hard to choose a favorite at Hog Wild, but I'd have to say it's their award-winning ribs. Hog Wild buys their meat from those who share their high-quality standards, then hand rubs each slab with their famous seasoning blend and slow smokes them over hickory each and every day for flavor and tenderness you're gonna keep coming back for. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Having diabetes doesn't have to ruin your new year. Join a Nebraska-supported program like Living Well with Diabetes. You'll learn how to manage your symptoms, feel more confident, and reduce stress about your diagnosis. Search Nebraska Living Well with Diabetes and click on the DHHS Healthy Living Programs page to learn more. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and we wanted to give a special shout out to all of our great customers, thanking you all for a record-setting year in 2024. Now let's get the new year rolling with some big savings. Right now at Cobble, we have some of the biggest discounts in the area with over $12,000 off list price or 0% APR on select new models. So stop on in the dealership or hit us up online at cobblecars.com to get true low country overhead in action. 12,000 off list or 0% APR right now at Cobble. So please stop on in or visit us at cobblecars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Davis Plumbing has been in business for over 15 years and is currently searching for journeyman plumbers to join their team. Experience is preferred, but not required for all applicants. When you join the team at Davis Plumbing, you'll receive full benefits package with paid time off. Join a small local business doing big things in Lincoln and surrounding areas. Apply today by calling 402-525-6922 or find them on social media. Davis Plumbing, locally owned and operated for over 15 years.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Greens at 402-467-4444 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-467-4444.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back one final time here during On the Block. We will stick around, though, for the start of Old School. Kevin Myers Cork and Bottle on his way in. Normally, this is the crossover with Old School, brought to you by Love Volleyball Omaha, whose inaugural season is underway. Runs through April, but don't wait. Get your tickets today and go see Love Volleyball Omaha at the Ralston Arena. Olympians, national team players, national champions, all a part of this Omaha club. You get your single match tickets today at lovboma.com. That's lovboma.com. Back to our starter Heyman Jewelers text line. Austin Norman and Eric Strickland with you here, Stricky. Brandon in Lincoln says, take the 3-point line back, 5 fouls, and you're gone. Would that help?
I mean, I think it'll open up the floor a little bit more. Maybe it'll create more space for, driving lanes. Maybe it will change the analytics a little bit so mid-range becomes more effective again. I think it's possible. Because I think the analytics will begin to speak a little bit more. You're talking about a little bit more range on some. I mean, there are guys that still could shoot that with no problem. There's a lot of guys that could do that, but it might change the analytics. Yeah.
Mean Joe Green says, what would you guys think that if instead of all the free throws, the defender that commits the foul and the offensive player that was fouled played one-on-one?
I think if you're talking about pace of play, that would slow the game down tremendously. But if you go to 10 minutes, then maybe not. So I mean, there's ways to make that happen.
Maybe do that after.
But you're saying,
fouls?
what does that give you? That gives you, so you either get the 2 points or you don't get no points.
Yeah.
What is the benefit to the defender? I guess there's no benefit, just not scoring.
Well, yeah, you keep points off the board, right? I mean, instead of putting the guy at the free throw line, you at least have a chance, right? I mean, free throw line, it's not often you see guys go 0 for 2.
Yeah.
So maybe after the 5th foul, when that normally goes to the bonus shots.
There's
Maybe
some bad free throw shooters, so maybe.
There are. It's true. And there's just something about the free throw line in basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's been a part of the game for a long time. Shout out to Thunder Knot Collins. Stricky, WTF tonight since the game starts at 7:30. Absolutely. We're going to be here 6 to 7. I will get over to the game. I will be at the game. But definitely WTF tonight going down 6 to 7 right here, 93.7 Ticket.
Let's pause 10 quick seconds for station identification here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
I want to get to this from Husker as well here at Strick. And I think it's a fun way to think about this. He says, I don't really think there is anything there to make a big change. This is the new era of basketball, which that's fine. Okay, if you think this era of basketball is what you want, some people really enjoy it. Some people don't. And, to each your own in terms of your flavor. But I think the argument for Husker's point of just leave it alone and see what happens organically is what we saw in the NFL, right? Yeah. Think about, we had this conversation at least once this year in that more and more defensive coordinators got tired of getting burned by these big quarterbacks with the big arms down the field. They got tired of putting their corners in one-on-one matchups and giving up pass interferences or big chunk plays. So what did they do, Strick? They went to too high.
Yeah.
They played a lot of cover 2, had a lot of high safeties, a lot of help over the top. That wasn't something the NFL legislated that says you have to play cover 2 on 40% of your snaps. They didn't do that. What they did was they said, the defensive coordinator said, hey, we're tired of this. We have an adjustment we can make. Let's dare you to dink and dunk down the field and beat us when they're looking, with their cover 2 look. So what did offenses do to adjust back? They started running the ball more, a little bit more successfully, not a huge amount, but the numbers bore out, at least for the first half of the NFL season, teams were running the ball more.
Yeah.
Because the defenses adjusted to them. So offenses adjusted back. I don't know if there's a true stylistic change that teams can make right now. I mean, we've seen plenty of defensive-minded head coaches come and go in the modern NBA, and they haven't been able to say, hey, this is what works against modern offenses. What we've seen, Strick, is a different type of athlete, right? The athlete's getting bigger and longer, fewer, 6'1", 6'2" point guards, more 6'4", 6'5". The NBA is just getting to be a bigger, longer sport with more wings, more rangy guys on the court consistently. It's hard to adjust to that stylistically unless I think you change the dimensions of the court potentially. I don't know.
It's something to definitely think about, but there's something that I have heard in this space that I think, we've talked about is the De'Aaron Fox and Wemby possibility. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of things that have been happening with that situation. I think he's kind of pigeonholed themselves. Let's keep an eye on that as we move into next week, because I think he's pigeonholed himself, Austin, in that he's basically put it out into the atmosphere that there's only a place that he wants to go. So you limit basically trading wars. You limit yourself.
Sure.
So you give leverage to the Spurs. And will the package be put together? I think that's something to keep an eye on, because I know when you do stuff like that, it makes it real tricky in negotiations.
NBA trade deadline is, I believe, next week. So it's going to happen pretty quickly here. Also going to happen pretty quickly, Thirsty Thursday. Thanks to One Volleyball Omaha for the crossover. Thanks to Nebco for their sponsorship of the show. Check them out at nebcoinc.com. Don't go anywhere. Thirsty Thursday in just a sec on the ticket.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln